Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace. Today we're going to be making some really cute tags using the handmade paper that we made in the last video, but I'll show you an alternative if you did not end up making the handmade paper. So let's grab your supplies and get into it. Also, excuse the mess. I've been trying out just a ton of different ideas for videos for this junk journal challenge, so I have a lot of fun things coming your way. Today's going to be pretty simple. I went ahead and just made one tag right before turning on the camera, and so you can see I used a stamp here, but we have a few other options if you don't have any stamps. And I did get these stamps from the Dollar Tree. This is what the set looks like. I have been told that these sets are quite hard to find. My Dollar Tree had a couple sets. I actually got an extra for a friend that I sent in the mail to her, but these were the two that I found the cutest, so hopefully you'll be able to get your hands on those because they are really cute. And yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to be using the handmade paper. I had so much fun making this and I'm so excited to put it to use. Okay, so the other thing I want to mention, because in the last video I didn't tell you, this ended up working out so good. It ends up being such a great texture. You can actually fold it and it doesn't crack. And it's super thin and easy to write on, so I'm really excited for that. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pull out a piece that I want to work with. I actually like the pieces that ended up at the end. They had kind of some of the chunkier paper pieces in them, and I really like how those look, so we're going to grab one of those today. I have this tag that I was using for just a guide because I like this size, but for reference it is about 2 1/4, almost 2.5 inches by 4 3/4 of a quarter. So I like that size, so I'm just using this for a reference because it makes it easy. It's kind of nice to have a template when you're making these stamps because it just makes everything a little bit quicker. Now I like the rough edges on my tags, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm using my ruler to cut, and I'm just going to try to get the most out of these little pages, and so I'm going to take my ruler just on this edge right here. Just go ahead and tear it, not worrying again that some of these edges will be a little uneven, and we can clean that up just a little bit in a minute. And then this edge, I'll just make this a little bit more straight. And guys, if you're making these tags along with me, hold on to these scraps. I mean, you don't have to keep the smallest scraps, but definitely hold on to the bigger scraps because we will use these in some upcoming little snippets that we're going to make. We're going to be doing like some snippets and some really cute little, what are they called? Layered tickets, and we can use those also to embellish our tags. So today when I'm making these tags, I'm going to keep some of them blank so that we can use some of our embellishments that we will be creating in a future video, just to place on the tag and finish it off that way too. So I'm just gonna go ahead, cut the corners here. See how I like that shape? I'm going to go ahead and actually trim off just a little piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and make just a couple more of these shapes so that we have a few to work on. If you didn't make the handmade paper, here's a few other options. You can use the coffee dyed paper that we made, and if you didn't make your coffee dyed paper, you can just use regular paper. You can also use book pages. So I'll go ahead and cut out 2 of these as well. I'm going to try and center that so that it has all of the writing on the tag. And you'll be surprised how cool it can look just using a book page. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these ones out just so I can do 2 at once. I also want to apologize because I had a few questions about why I went ahead and used non-Dollar Tree supplies for the coffee dyed paper, because if you saw that video, I did go ahead and use the vinyl plastic or vinyl doilies that I had from Amazon, but I only used those because I had seen vinyl placemats at Dollar Tree before, so I don't want to rebuy products that I know are available, but I've had a lot of people saying they've never been able to find them. So I do apologize, but I'm going to try my hardest to use all Dollar Tree items. That's one reason why I wanted this challenge to be a little bit more laid back, so that you're not so stressed out about using like only Dollar Tree items or only a certain amount. That's kind of just what I'm working with right now. Okay guys, so now we have a few blank options here and we can go ahead and decorate. Since I already did a couple of the Dreamcatcher stamps, I'm going to go ahead and we'll use the bird one. I really like this stamp set. I think it's so pretty. So I'm just going to take one of these and we'll go ahead and decorate a few of these without stamps in just a moment in case you can't get your hands on these stamps. And again, this ink that I'm using is also not Dollar Tree. It's just something I had in my stash. I have seen stamp ink at Dollar Tree before though, and you could probably use paint as well. I haven't actually tried that, but I probably should try it. Okay, so for this one, we'll go ahead and just stamp, I guess kind of more at the top. And then I'll have space if I want to add like a word or something at the bottom. Okay, let's also use, I'm going to use this so I can stamp right onto it and not get it on my mat. I'm also going to use this little flower stamp that was a part of the bird one. And I am going to use, actually I'm going to use my colored ink. Again, not from Dollar Tree, but we're going to use it because I've got it. I love this ombre ink so much. Okay, so it's not showing up like a ton on the coffee dyed paper. That's the one I chose to do. But I sort of like how it's just in the background. And I think that this effect would be really pretty on one of the handmade papers too. But I kind of want to leave those for a few other ideas that I have. I like to stamp off of my tag as well, so it kind of looks like it's more like a pattern paper than just stamped on. I guess we will go ahead and do one more stamp, and because I want to stamp onto the book page here. So I have one more of the Dreamcatchers, and I'll show you what we can do if the book pages is not like sturdy enough for your liking. So we'll come back to these stamped ones and finish those off, and I'll show you how to make this one a little bit sturdier. But let's move on to a few other options in case you didn't grab the stamps. And we're going to just simply use stickers. You'll be surprised how this can give such a finished look. But we'll use this one, and I'm just gonna, we'll put it right here. And I like how this one has like some plant kind of showing through. So not finished yet, but you can see, not finished yet, but you can see how pretty the stickers really finish these off. And we'll use, let's see, I don't know if this one's too wide. No, I think we can make that work. We'll do this here. It is a little wide for this, but that's okay. I'll put it more at the bottom, I think. So the last idea that I want to do today for decorating these is using one of the Dollar Tree books. And I could either cut out like this flower. I think I'm going to cut out the butterfly though. So we'll cut this out. I'll make sure to cut it as close as I can to the edge here. And don't forget, I guess I did say that I want to revisit these tags after a few videos when I finish up a few more layered embellishments, because those are also another great way to finish off a tag. So I'll have to make some more bases. We have plenty of handmade paper to do that with. We're going to go ahead and just glue this down. It's a little bigger than the tag, but that's okay. We will make it work. So I'll try not to get glue all the way to the edge. But I kind of like how this one is cut off on one side, because I think that will look kind of cute to have it over on the edge here. Let's see, actually. Kind of want to make sure the bottom of it is fully on there. Now I could actually keep that edge hanging off, and I think I might do that. Okay, so now that we have these pretty much one image or whatever on each tag, let's go ahead and finish them up. And by the way, if you didn't find any books that have images, you can also use book pages and maybe cut out a shape. That's just another option. Okay, so another thing I liked doing with these ones was taking a pen, And you can see I just drew a border around. This is something I used to do all the time when I first started making tags and crafting, and I kind of forgot about it. Don't worry, my hands are pretty shaky, and you don't have to worry about having an exact straight line. In fact, I think it's better it's better to have it be a little wobbly or wonky, if you want to call it. Sometimes I'll even kind of cross them like this. If you want that more perfect line, then go ahead and use a ruler and just draw across that or next to that. But I personally would rather have it be a little wonky. So sometimes I'll do one, sometimes I'll do two, and when I do two lines, I like to kind of cross them over sometimes. Like, really don't worry about it being perfect. So you could also make like stitch lines, and for me that's kind of why I started doing this. It was before I had a sewing machine, and I thought it kind of gave the illusion of having that texture around the edges. So of course, if you have a sewing machine and you would rather sew, you can do that. That's usually what I do, and I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing this. But this is a really nice effect, especially on these white ones, because I feel like it really gives a little something extra. So I'm just going to do that along the edges of these tags, or at least most of them. You can do the stitch lines kind of like this. You can use different colors. Pull out all of those gel markers that you've been hoarding. Oh, is that just me? So next up, if you can find the hole reinforcers from Dollar Tree, they always have them. They do come in white. I suggest grabbing a pack. You can go ahead and color them whatever color you want. You can coffee dye them as well. So I don't actually have those right now, so I'm going to take a book page instead and make my own. This is a little time consuming, so I would suggest get the hole reinforcers if you can. I'm using a circle Velcro dot here, and I'm just going to use that as my guide. And I'm just going to start out by cutting out circles. Also, if you have a small circle punch, that would work good too. Probably like the, I think, 1/2 inch would probably be good. Maybe that would be a little too big, I'm not quite sure. But one of those would work way better, or if you have a die. So I'm going to cut out a bunch of these and I'll show you how to place them on. And I thought it would be cute to also maybe just use some colored paper, and that way you don't have to worry about coloring them. This is actually just a book page from that little friendship book that I have. Anyways, I go ahead and fold it in half, that way I can cut out 2 at once. And then I also don't worry about making the perfect circle, because again, I'm just not worried about it being perfect. I like the wonkiness of it all. Okay, so go ahead and place your circles down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue all of these down, just on the top, center. I'm not gonna worry about getting it perfect, but I'll glue them all down first, and then we can just punch a hole in the center. If you want to make a bunch of these and you can go ahead and punch the hole out before putting them on your tag, you can do that, but it is a little finicky in my opinion to punch the hole when you have like this small tiny little circle. So this is just my preferred method here. And that one didn't quite show up so well. I could have used a colored one, but that's okay. All right, and then grab your hole punch, and I'm just going to use my lovely crocodile here and just punch as well as you can in the center. Mine are still wet, so let the glue dry. You're going to have a much better time with it. So now you can just finish them off with any kind of twine, lace that you would like. Dollar Tree has a ton of options. And I'm just using this twine that I got in a 3-pack. And it came with these 3 right here. This is probably what I will use to bind my journal. I'm not quite sure yet. In case you're not familiar with how I'm doing this, you'll take your twine and just kind of fold it in half, and then you're going to push the folded edge through the hole. It doesn't really matter which direction you're going. And then you'll take that loop that you created and pull the ends through, and then you're left with this little situation. So that's how I like to finish off my tags. There's probably lots of other ways that you could do it. I just remembered that I didn't show you how to make that one a little sturdier, so we'll do that in just a moment. So I'll finish these all up, and I have one more finishing idea. So if you're using book pages and you don't like how thin they are, my idea, and even if that's not a worry to you, I personally like to back them with coffee dyed paper once in a while, because I think it's a good place for journaling, and so it's nice to have a blank slate. So I'm just putting glue all over the back here, and since this is really thin paper, I'm just gonna smooth it out with my finger like that, and then I'll just glue it on down like this, and then we can just cut it out. And you can really do that with all of these if you wish, but I really like, especially on the handmade paper, I like the look of that, and it's easy to write on. And P.S. if you were looking for more ideas with the handmade paper, we definitely will be using it a few more times in the upcoming videos. I have a few ideas, so hopefully I'll be able to get to filming all of those ideas. And the last idea I had for finishing off these tags was taking some Dollar Tree beads. I got all of these from the Dollar Tree. By the way, I will be using these most likely on a tassel when we get to the end, and Dollar Tree does have rings like this. I think they're called like book binding rings or something like that, so be on the lookout for those. But yes, I was thinking that if we wanted, we could take some of the beads. Let me take two of the little green ones and string them on here just for a fun little jingle. It's a little challenging to get those on there, but once you string it on, I'm just going to tie a little knot, and I'm not in frame there, at the end just to hold it on. You could do this probably several different ways, but I'll make sure that's big enough. So I'll just tie one on each end here, a little knot at the end. Yeah, that's super cute. I'm definitely going to make them a bit more bulky, but to have these like at the top of a journal, I think that that would look really cute. I'll show you what I mean. You could just have it at the top, almost like a bookmark, kind of like that. And have it either peeking out the top like that, or you could even make them kind of hanging off the side like that. I actually think that is going to look really cute if we do that, so I will probably add a few to my tags. I just love how those look with the beads, but it just depends how much bulk you want in your journal. I hope that you guys really enjoyed these ideas today. I just have to give you guys a sneak peek if you're still here. We're going to be making some DIY fabric washi in one of the upcoming videos. We'll also do some deco washi. It looks amazing. Thanks to Lace Covered Skies for the inspiration on this one. So stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Can't wait. See you then. Bye.